Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're doing a fish room tour. First time in a very long time, and a lot has changed. I can't remember when the last fish room tour was, but I think it was sometime last year, and definitely things have been changing. There's a few tanks, like that tank over there, that I can't show you today. Well, that's the only tank I can't show you today because it's my contest tank. But we'll take a look at every other tank that I have here. So at the start, we've got the sink area where I clean stuff and prepare food and trimmings of aquatic plants that I still need to sort out. Got a little table here that's currently a mess. Recently I've just been moving stuff around and thinking how I want to further make this fish room better. So it's not complete yet, but the whole layout of the room is basically done. There's still a few things I want to touch up and work on, and we'll do that this year together. So first of all, this might look different because these are turtles. I got myself two little turtles. Currently they're eating. And what these guys are the Western painted turtles. So I haven't seen these before, and when I did spot them at the pet shop, I just knew that I wanted to get these. I've always liked turtles, and these guys especially because they don't get as big as the red-eared sliders, which are very common and also invasive here in Japan. Right now, the red-eared sliders are not available for sale. They're banned in Japan, I think. But these guys aren't. And one is bigger than the other, even though I got them at the same time. The growing speed is different. I'm not sure if maybe because this is a female and that's a male. The female usually are the larger ones, but you can just see how beautiful these guys are. Let's put them under the light. So they've got this nice olive colored shell, and then the underneath is just beautiful patterns. So right now these guys are staying inside the fish room, but soon, probably in the next week or two, I'll be moving them outside. I have to build a lid for them. I'm also still figuring out what tub or what container I want to put them in outside. Last year when these guys were smaller, they were in this thing right here. You can see this little container. It's just a 45 centimeter container. But now since they've gotten bigger, I'm going to have to upgrade them, and I think this container will do, but I was only planning to use this for the winter time when I bring them inside. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, if you guys have ever kept turtles before. Right now there's no filtration on this, but I do a water change on this every like 3 days or something like that. Yeah, a couple times a week I do a water change on this, and you can see they are looking really nice. Alright, let's move on. So we'll go this way right now, starting off on this stand. This is a DIY stand I built. You can see it's not even fully painted, but I'm going to change this out in the future. I'll tell you what I'm going to change it to later on. But over here, this is a 60 centimeter 2-foot tank that I was just experimenting growing some aquatic plants immersed indoors. And you can see they're all growing quite well. I've got a few different types of Rotala's, Ludwigias. Like this is Ludwigia inclinata. What is it? Ludwigia inclinata verticulata Pantanal. It's the beautiful Pantanal Ludwigia. And then I've got Hygrophila pinnatophyta UK. It's a type that turns like reddish purple underwater. Then I've got some cryptocoryns in here. And yeah, just a play around tank. I've also got some Ricardia camidrifolia that I'm growing on the soil as well as on some lava rocks. And they are doing really nicely. And when I first put the Ricardia on the stone, there was just very little of it, and it's grown so well. You can see on the other stone, and I've got one stone over here. Oh, and another one there. I've already forgotten. I actually put the stones there to separate the plants from each other because I put quite a bunch of Rotalas and I didn't want them to mix up. So yeah, that is that. Then over here, we've got a tall tank. A 30 centimeter, 1 foot cube, but 40 centimeters tall. So not a cube, but a tall cube. And what this is for this to upgrade to, move in. So this is my lace plant tank, and you can see how big it has gotten. I don't have pictures from when it was just a, oh maybe I do. Yeah, I'll try to find that and put that on screen, but it used to be so tiny, and it's gone into this massive thing, and now I'm going to have to upgrade it into this. And it's no filter, there's no fish, no shrimp or anything. Maybe I might put some shrimp in the future, that might work out well. But yeah, that is something I'm going to play with moving forward. And then over here, excuse these empty bottles of fertilizer, but I've got a new product called the Dua Cell, and it's the emerald color. Quite a big container this is, and I'll be excited to also play with this moving forward. We'll have videos on this coming out, and this is the plant that will be going in there. It's a type of fern. It's not an aquatic fern, but yeah, I thought it was quite interesting, and I'm hoping to put this in that cell. Then we've got a few cactuses. I got these cactus really cheap. I really don't know how to care for cactus, but these have been with me for a few months now, so I think they're okay. I've only watered them once in the last few months that I've had these, so I think they should be doing okay. Like, let me know, how do you guys care for cactus? How often do you water them? How much light do you give them? And what do you do during the winter time? Moving on. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this plant. This is one of my favorite plants. It's called Selome, or the tree philodendron, or Tomatophyllum bipinnatifidum, or something like that. But I had this when it was so tiny. Like, I'll put another picture up right here. You can see the leaf shape was completely different. I got it from the dollar store, and it's grown into this giant thing. And I need to repot it again. I want it to be like the centerpiece house plant for this room. And yeah, I just love that this thing has been growing so well. Like, look at the leaves, they're beautiful. Now moving on, we'll go on to this first rack over here. So this rack is a rack of 90 centimeter tanks, or 3-foot tanks, and the top tanks are 3-foot shallow tanks, and then these ones here are 3-foot by 1.5 by 1.5 feet. And up top, you can see the lights aren't turned on today, and they haven't been turned on for the last 4 days because I'm doing a blackout. This is a newly set up tank, and I just had a massive spike in algae, so I'm currently blacking out the tank, and yeah, the algae has been going away, but there's not enough shrimp in here. I need to get more Amano shrimp to clear out this algae, because usually they'll clear it out for me within 4 days, but this time around I still have a bunch of algae. So I still need to balance out this tank, and it's a work in progress. But it's nothing to be worried about. We will get it balanced eventually. But there are some unique rare plants in here. We'll go through in detail in future videos when I get the lights on, but right now I don't really want to disturb it. Down below here is my angelfish and red phantom tetra tank. These two tanks here are basically set up in the same way. They're using the same canister filter, same gravel, and same type of driftwood, but different plants. So these are kind of like my long-term tanks. I want to keep these two tanks running forever, as long as I possibly can. And the plants in here, I tried to go for easy to care for plants that don't require a lot of trimming, and plants that can last a long time in a planted aquarium. So right here, the centerpiece plant is probably this lotus. the first few weeks of having this plant, I had to trim it a lot because the plants would just try to keep going to the surface. But over the last few months, this plant has just been staying like this. It hasn't been going to the top. So it's been really easy. The other plants in here, I've got some Java Fern in the back, some Anubias, some Cryptocorynes, Pontoderifolia, which is my favorite cryptocoryne. Hasn't been doing too well in this tank. I think it might be a lack of nutrients, or maybe not enough CO2, or I'm not sure. I've got some Parva as well, starting to do better. A lot of it did like disappear on me, but I think it's slowly starting to come back. And then I've got some Microswarm Trident that I just recently tied onto some lava rocks, and I'm slowly growing out in here. This is not for this tank, it's just holding in this tank for the time being. I'm going to move it out in the future. But yeah, I really like this tank. And there are still some areas where I want to put plants in, but I just haven't decided what type of plants I want to add into this tank. In the back, I've got some Cryptocoryne Balance. Maybe I just need that to fill in more, and then it'll start to look better, because that's a tall growing plant, and right now it's still, like you can see, hasn't really grown tall. But in my tank that's in my room, the 4-foot Rainbow Fish Crypt Jungle tank that maybe some of you know, the Cryptocoryne Balance is growing absolutely crazy in the tank. I'll do a video on that in the future. Over here is my Boesemani Rainbow Fish tank. These are some fish that I hatched out and raised myself, and these guys are super slow growers. They take forever to get to this size, but they're looking really good. We've got a good mix of males and females, and wow, I just love these fish so much. But the plants are similar. We've got some Cryptocoryne Pontoderifolia, some Crypt Walkeri, and then some Wenti greens, and then more Pontoderifolia. And then we've got Bolbitis. This is called the Guinea Narrow Bolbitis. Their leaves are more serrated than the normal Bolbitis. Then we've got a Crinum calamostratum. That's probably, these two plants here, the Bolbitis and the Crinum, probably the centerpiece plant for this tank. And then we've got some Microswarm Narrowleaf. And then more Balance in the back. But these are also not fully grown yet. And then some Microswarm back there. Yeah, that's basically this tank. And I've got a little Dracena reflexa here. This was from, I'll show you, it was from this right here. But I accidentally dropped this in the beginning of this year, and a few stems, 2 stems broke off. So one stem is just floating in here, and you can see it's put out some nice roots for me back there, and then hopefully I'll replant this in some soil in the future. And then the other stem is right here. This one has also been growing some nice roots. But yeah, kind of unfortunate that I dropped that, but yeah, let's move on. So this tank up here is an empty tank. So you can see no lights up top. And what I'm planning to do with this, I still haven't planned out fully, but I'm hoping to do something like this. Grow some like special unique plants and propagate and maybe sell them moving forward. Kind of want to try growing and selling aquatic plants. Over here, this is my Dua Shizuku that I set up early last year, I think, or was it like summer last year? So maybe 1 year now. But the crypt has grown tremendously. It's been sending out so many runners, and there's so many new little plants that came out from this one Cryptocoryne. And we started off with this. If you watch the video, we just took one small little plant from this, and it's grown so much. So I can still make some more. Oh, well, maybe this is one of the type of crypts that I can propagate and sell. And then this here is something I made recently at the ADA lab in Tokyo, Japan. But this is, let me put this here for now. This is an orchid. Oh man, I don't know. Pleurothallis rubella. I've actually got the tag right here. Yeah, so that is this plant. Really nice orange flowers. We've got some yellow leaves that I've got to take out, but so far so good. Not as hard to care for as I was thinking it was going to be, because I'm not really good with orchids and those kinds of plants. So far this has been doing good for about a month now, so I'm hoping it'll continue. Well, still less than it's only probably like 3 weeks actually, so praying that that thing will live and go on. Alright, now we'll move on to this rack. Oh shoot, I just forgot I didn't clean that tank, so maybe we'll do some B-roll of it with some good footage. But you can see algae on the tank. These are my Bosemani rainbow fish. These are the parents of the little guys that are in that tank. And there's 2 males and 1 female. This is the trio I started out with. And yeah, I always thought like I had to have 2 females and 1 male. Otherwise they just fight. 2 males fighting for the female. But it seems to have been working out well. I've had these guys for more than 2 years now, and they've been kept in this tank. It's what is it? It's a 45 centimeter tank, about is it 10 gallons? I think it's quite small for them, but this gives me chance to get the eggs. Because they're in a smaller area, they can concentrate on putting the eggs in that one spot. But I have been thinking of moving them into a larger tank, into one of these, 60 centimeter tanks, just to let them enjoy their life and breed if they want to. But you can see they are looking really nice in there. Over in this tank we've got the Heterandria formosa, or the least killifish. Here's a nice looking female, and then we've got a couple males in here. These guys will breed like live bearers, but they only give birth to a few like 1 or 2 offsprings every few days, and it kind of takes forever. These are really nice fish, but it's really hard to tell if I'm having any success with them, because rarely I find like tiny little babies, and I don't know if they're actually growing in numbers or not. But I've had these for a while now, and I think they're doing okay, so I do really like them, but I kind of want to get more going. If you have any tips on how to like produce more of these, please let me know in the comments below. I do have a lot of moss in here, and I do keep the mulm around all the detritus so that the babies can hide. Maybe I just need to feed them more. Down below, these are the 60 shallow tanks. So they're the same height as these actually. They're only 30 centimeter tall, 1 foot tall. But in here we've got the Pseudomugil luminatus, or the red neon dwarf rainbow fish. But they're really nice, really beautiful. They've been producing quite a few eggs for me this year. I've also got some plecos in here, that's why you can see the pleco caves. I think they're the L134 plecos, the leopard frogs, and they're currently in the cave, so you can't really see them now, but they're really nice looking pleco, and I'm really enjoying the way these tanks are set up right now. Over here, these are the Pseudomugil virtudes aru 4 is what I got them as. And here's the female right here. I lost the female. I had 2 pairs, but I lost the female, and I've got 2 males. So kind of the same ratio as my Bosemani rainbow fish. And they haven't been giving me lots of eggs. I've only found 1 so far, and it doesn't seem to be a viable egg. But they're doing alright. Maybe, like for this tank, maybe they just need a smaller tank so that they can focus on putting the eggs in one spot. Rather than having a big tank, the males have to chase around a lot, and yeah, it probably just tires them out, but I want to kind of give them a nice larger home. So I don't know, probably not the best setup for breeding. Down here we've got checkerboard cichlids. I did originally intend to breed these, but I don't think I really want to right now. I kind of just enjoy watching these guys in their little habitat, in their little environment, swimming around, chasing each other, hiding in the little crevices. And if they breed, then maybe that's a bonus. But right now you can see there's some blue-green algae on the bottom. On these two tanks actually I had some blue-green algae, but I'm gonna sort that out. I also need to fill the rest of this tank with gravel because you can see the empty areas in the front. I just ran out of gravel, so I had to go and get some more. So I've got a few more bags here that I'll need to wash and fill in. But yeah, these guys are really fun to watch, and I just love their patterns. Like, look how unique and beautiful this fish is. Next to that, we've got the Pseudomugil signifers. The signifer rainbow fish, they are so nice. Like, when I bought them, I bought some of these online. The picture just doesn't do it any justice. They didn't show the yellow colors, the whites on the fins, and I didn't really know what I was buying. Well, I did because I researched it and I looked at what the males could look like. So I didn't know that, but maybe they're just taking pictures of the females. But yeah, the males here are incredible. The females unfortunately don't have much colors, like you can see on those two right there. But yeah, these are really nice, unique looking fish, and I'm hoping to breed them, but they haven't been producing many eggs for me, and I think one reason is because I've got a few plants in there, and that's probably distracting them from going into the spawning mop. So I gotta get some of these plants out, and yeah, maybe put a few spawning mops in there, because I've got quite a good number of them, and they should be producing some eggs for me. And those are the signifers. Very nice looking rainbow fish. Down below, underneath this shelf, is where I have some of my substrate stored. Some of my gravel, soil, sand. Yeah, but let's move on over to this middle section now. So now in this tank, this is where I have my Sabor resplendens, the Asian rummy-nosed Rasbora. And before, I was having trouble with them with internal parasites, but now they are so much better. You can see the colors on them, like such beautiful coloration, and they're all really active now, and I have no problems with them anymore. But they are looking so incredible, so active, and so beautiful. But this tank not running on CO2. You can see the plants are struggling a bit, but they are growing. These are Java ferns, the narrow leaf variety. And I've also got some Bucephalandras in here. But I'm going to be taking this tank down and kind of moving them into that tank over there, which I'll show you later. I'm not going to be changing the scape massively. I'm just going to be transferring the scape, all the rocks and the wood, into that tank, and be doing a little experiment with some new substrate that I have. But just take a look at how stunning these guys look. I really wish they were more common. Up top, I got some of my Pseudomugil eggs. I need time to hatch out. Now over here is my African cichlid tank, and these guys are doing really, really well. So I got myself a few more Demasoni cichlids, and yellow labs are looking amazing. You can see this one here is holding probably some babies. It's been holding for a couple weeks now, so I'm guessing they're babies by this point, and soon they'll be released. But The Demasoni cichlids are looking amazing. You know, let's go and feed this tank, because usually they'll come out when we feed them. So the green one is the African cichlid food. So I'm doing this with one hand, so yeah, but the yellows are really striking. And the blues too. The dream was to have the Chindongo solosi or the Pseudotrophia solosi, but they seem to be impossible to find here, so this is the closest I can get to them, a yellow lab and the Demasoni cichlid. I've also got a few babies in here, baby yellow labs, that have grown out in this tank. And I want to try, moving forward, I want to try to rescape this and give them more hiding spots, because right now it's a nice scape. I really like this rock scape, but it feels kind of flat. Like there's not much caves for them to go in and out of, so I want to add more caves for them. But even though I did make this layout like kind of flat, they'd have dug holes for them to hide in. You can see like another hole here where this Demasoni is. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love these fish. Here's a little baby yellow lab that has grown out. Yeah, but I will be moving this tank too, just slightly to the left. So I'll be moving this tank over to this side, and this new setup will be going to the right side. Okay, now we'll go over here. We'll skip my contest tank. But this here is a 90 centimeter stand that I just had built by my carpenter. And you can see it's beautiful, amazing quality. In the future, I want to try to make more of these, and if people are interested, I kind of want to sell it as an original cabinet. But I don't think I'll do like overseas shipping or something like that. But yeah, but it's really nice. Good quality, nice wood, real wood. And right now there's no like varnish or no nothing to protect the wood, but I do want to put some finish on this. Just a natural clear oil, so that it'll not absorb water. But I really like this, and I like the design. Kind of gives you like a cabin barn style look. And this is actually the same. It's a similar wood but slightly different. This one has been oil finished and it's made slightly differently. We've got some push knobs here, so you can open it up, access the canister. This one has a little drawer inside. But yeah, I really like this style, and I'm hoping to build another one of these in the future for here. It'll be either 150 centimeters or 180 centimeters, 5 foot or a 6 foot stand, because that's what I hope to put here in the future, 5 foot or 6 foot tank. I still haven't decided. I still don't have any money for that, but hopefully I can work hard enough and achieve that goal in the future. Now over here, this is my 2 foot ADA tank, and right now it's just a plant holding tank. You can see I've got all these labels of the different plants that I've got growing in here. Some are pretty unique, some are quite common, but yeah, it's just basically a stock tank. We've got Hygrophila pinnatophyta UK, some Hyptis laciniata. This is a plant my friend gave me just a few days ago. Sphyrocarpa, Ludwigia sphyrocarpa, my absolute favorite plant at the moment, and probably will be for a long time. This is one of the plants I hope to grow more and propagate and sell in the future. Now we've got a few different types of Rhotallas in here. Bacopa purple, some more Rhotallas, some Bulbitis just floating around. We've got some Cryptocorynes as well, some Ludwigia senegalensis, and then Eichhornia. But yeah, just a variety in here. And it's currently running CO2. We've got the ADA Aquasky 602G. This is the first light I got when I came to Japan. I got it second hand at a good deal, a good price. It's currently at the front now because I was taking some pictures yesterday, but let me slide it over to back. Alright, perfect. Yeah. Now let's look at this tank over here. This is my Immerse setup. I've had this for 2 years now, and the plants have been growing like crazy. And I want to take this down soon, but right now I can't do that because I don't have any place to put all these plants, and they're doing really well right now. You can see this Echinodorus is like sending out this little flowering thing, and it'll probably put some babies out. But yeah, I've got some Anubias in here, Cryptocorynes, some mosses growing, Bucephalandras as well. And it's been doing incredibly well. Another one of my goals, something I want to set up in the future, is the ADA System Pallida. It's basically a terrarium. You can make it a paludarium, but most people use it as a terrarium, and that's kind of what I want to set up. A nice little terrarium. It's kind of expensive, but it looks really, really nice and really stylish, and I just would like to have one of that in this room to display. And also it's quite low maintenance. I know terrariums compared to aquariums, because there's no water, it's much easier to maintain, and yeah, I hope I can do that in the future. Now I haven't shown these, but these are some of my other houseplants. This is Philodendron Xanadu. I'm not sure if it's a Tamiophyllum now. I gotta research that. And then I've got a Syngonium here. But these are just some plants I'm playing around with. I really like the leaves with this kind of foliage. These are still little babies. I just got them last winter, so they haven't been growing at all. And some of the leaves have been dying, so I've been cutting them off. But soon it's starting to get warmer. They should put out some new leaves. I think like this one here is already putting out some baby leaves, and this one as well. So it'll be interesting to watch all these grow. It's kind of weird. I have a bunch of the same plants, but I'm just really into that for some reason. I've got a little Microsorum here. This is an immersed Microsorum. I don't think it can go underwater. It's Microsorum diversifolium, if any of you are familiar with that. But yeah, these are my houseplants that I'm keeping. And then I've also got some of this here. You can see how much it's growing. This used to like stop right here, then it's just been growing out this way. I gotta get this in a proper setup. Oh yeah, I've also got a little Monstera Adansonii, if that's how you say it. So that's my fish room tour of 2024, the first one in quite a long time, and I hope to make more moving forward. More updates coming to this room, more upgrades as well, as there's still a lot I want to work on. Also, we've got some curtains in here. I need to work on the glare. There was quite a bit of glare in today's video. I do have a polarized lens, so that does get rid of some of the glare, but doesn't get rid of it 100%. But yeah, some of the other windows, like the one back there, there's a curtain. I just didn't close it. But this window here, I need to do something about it. There's also a crack in it, but yeah, we'll work on that moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.